Poppies are an important part of Australian culture. Before World War I, in stories, art and poetry, the poppy symbolised sleep and oblivion. At 11 a.m. on the 11th of November 1918, at the end of World War I, the poppy gained a new significance. It became a symbol of remembrance, a symbol of respect for all those who served and those that fell during World War I. There are many connections that make the poppy a powerful symbol of these times and a sign of respect for the service of the Defence Forces then and now. The poppy was one of the first plants to grow in the devastated battlefields of France and Belgium. Even today, wild poppies continue to grow in these areas. The red of the poppy symbolised the blood and sacrifice of the many who died in the line of service. Only 2 bodies returned to Australia from World War I. The unknown soldier, now buried at the Australian War Memorial in Canberra, and Major General Sir William Throsby Bridges, KCB CMG, the commander of the Australian Imperial Forces, buried at the Royal Australian Military College at Duntroon. No other serviceman or woman who died in World War I returned. The red poppy represents all those who never came home. On the very first anniversary of the end of World War I, Armistice Day, Edward George Honey, a journalist from Melbourne, suggested we remain silent for a period to remember those who died in war. Families, friends and relatives of those who died attended Armistice Day services to mourn and remember. Today, we observe a minute's silence on the 11th hour on the 11th day of the 11th month to commemorate the fallen. When people die, we lay flowers at their gravesite. During and after World War I, families of the fallen had no grave sites to visit. The red poppy is the flower we wear to remember those buried abroad. It is the flower we lay at memorials that represent those faraway graves. The poppy is the flower we now wear and present at the funerals of Defence servicemen and women. It is the flower we wear to say to all servicemen and women, thank you. We will remember. The RSL first sold poppies for Armistice Day in 1921. Homemade poppies were worn for several years before this in Australia, New Zealand, Britain, Canada and America. After World War II, Armistice Day was renamed Remembrance Day to commemorate those who died in service during World War I and World War II. The first poppies sold by the RSL were made of red silk. Each poppy sold for $1, and some of the money raised was donated to French orphan programs abroad. The money was also used to support the welfare work delivered by RSL branches across Australia. It is tradition that the poppy is worn pinned to the left-hand side of your shirt, jacket or dress. Today, we often wear an artificial poppy or poppy-shaped pin. Poppies are also used on wreaths, laid on memorials, at funerals and at the graves of past servicemen and women. At the Australian War Memorial in Canberra, poppies are placed beside names on the Roll of Honour as a tribute to the memory of a relative, a fellow service person, or as an acknowledgement to any one of the thousands of men and women commemorated there. In fact, on Remembrance Day, an abundance of red poppies appear as tributes everywhere. In November, you may consider attending a remembrance service in your local community and wearing a red poppy like those that grow in Flanders Fields. In Flanders Fields, the poppies blow between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks, still bravely singing, fly, scarce heard amid the guns below. We are the dead. Short days ago, we lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders Fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe. To you from failing hands we throw the torch. be yours to hold it high. If ye break faith with us who die, we shall not sleep, though poppies grow in Flanders fields. Lest we forget,